Gio,
BT and Sal,
Kevin and Tiki.
Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on the Fan.
on the fan.
On the Fan.
on the fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Welcome to another episode of WFAN Daily with your host, Pete Hoffman. Thank you so much for joining us, checking us out. And yes, the home run derby was won by the only guy that I told you not to pick. If anybody, I got so many text messages today about the home run derby, and I said it was clear cut. The one person that was not going to win was Cal Riley, and I was dead wrong. That was bad advice. I'm sorry. I picked James Wood. He got knocked out in the first round. Or Brent Rooker, and he also, too, got knocked out in the first round by none other than Cal Riley. Listen, you win some, you lose some. Jazz Chisholm, however, no-showed and a dud in the home run derby. And it happens every year. There's always one guy who shows up and just, not saying he's out of his element, but there's one person, no matter what, each and every year that is just going to give a dud performance. And it sucks, especially when it's your guy. My kid was so locked into this home run derby. And for whatever reason, he thought Jazz Chisholm was going to win. Obviously, we know that wasn't going to happen. We knew that for a fact. The likelihood of Jazz Chisholm winning a home run derby, highly unlikely. But he was excited. He was locked in. And the fact that he put up 3 home runs was bad enough. But then he lost. My kid was devastated. Me, not so much. Didn't really affect me at all. And I don't think many people expected him to win. But when you look at the big picture, yeah, you know what? Like when Pete Alonso in previous years had his moments in the Derby, when David Wright had his moments, when you've seen other hometown or local guys hit the home run derby, you do pull for them. You want them to do well. You want them to not get eliminated in the first round and only have that dud of an experience. So it was disappointing all day long for that. Sucked. Now, Jazz Chisholm's not really a power hitter. We know that. Look at the guys who were in there. Look at O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz, the ball flies off his bat. Now, he can't really do that in games, but in a home run derby where there's no pressure, yes, of course the ball flies off. We see that all the time. Happens all the time. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is when you see these guys in batting practice, which, by the way, we never really see batting practice anymore because we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to get in there too early, and they do it so quick before we even get in there. But if you do watch a lot of these guys, there is an art to batting practice. There's an art to just hitting balls out of the ballpark, having fun, and just being relaxed and chill in the moment. Derby, there's a pressure. You have a sold-out crowd in Atlanta, Truist Ballpark, which is what it is, and everyone's attention is on you. So it sucked. It sucked to see not to see Cal Raleigh win, but it sucked to see your hometown guy, Jazz Chisholm, not really be able to perform. And that, it's one of those things where it may be better off next year just not going. And this is why when they talk about like home run derbies or dunk contests and whatnot, you do want the elite guys there. Just imagine how fun that was, even though it's Cal Raleigh, who again is the league leader in home runs at the moment. Let's not forget, he really legitimately is. Up until Aaron Judge takes over, Cal Raleigh is the home run leader in baseball. But just imagine if Aaron Judge was in there. Just imagine if Pete Alonso was in there. Just imagine if Shohei was in there. How much cooler would the event be? And it would be. It would be that cool. Now, don't get me wrong. It was cool seeing some of these younger guys. Brent Rooker got an opportunity. Like I said, O'Neal Cruz was in there. And there's some other names that you just normally wouldn't know as much. So they highlight those guys. But on the other hand, too, think about in previous years when Ryan Howard won the home run derby, when Ken Griffey Jr. won, when, again, Pete Alonso won a couple home run derbies. It's nice to see those guys go out there. Junior Caminero was put on display. It was cool. It was great. But wouldn't you prefer seeing Aaron Judge? Wouldn't you prefer seeing, hell, I'd almost see Giancarlo Stanton, even though he's not an all-star. I'd almost prefer seeing him, the home run hitters, those guys that just do it up for a living. Again, disappointing by Jazz, and that's what you expect. I mean, again, he's not that type of guy. When Jazz hits a home run, yes, he swings from his shoes, but that's not the reason why you want to see Jazz Chisholm. You want to see him because he's an exciting ball player. That being said, let's go and you talk about O'Neal Cruz again, another guy like I'm talking about. Like, he's in the home run derby. He's got 16 home runs on the season, but look at him. His numbers this year are just kind of pathetic. You know, he's got 16 home runs. He's batting .212, an OPS of 733, and we're putting O'Neal Cruz in a home run derby. It's a waste. I want to see bigger, better, because then you could take it more serious. Now, listen, was it cool how they've changed it around a little bit? Again, we've had this now for a little bit. There's the clock. It's a 4-minute clock. You get 27 pitches or whatever it is, or it was more than that, I think, in the first couple of rounds. But then the clock starts to click, goes 2 minutes, and you get 27 pitches, and then you got the extra balls. It's better. It's more enjoyable because there's a little fast pace to it, then there's a little strategy to it. So it is good. It wasn't just like, hey, just try to hit as many home runs as possible, and these guys are wearing people out, or the 10 outs was always terrible, or 20 outs, whatever it was. That was the top news of the day, I guess you could say, as far as games that took place, home run derby. The other thing that took place, which was something that I talked about a month ago, and I'm very happy it finally happened. Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets got paid. And I did a podcast about a month ago when this rumor was coming out that the Jets were looking to fork over a ton of money to Garrett Wilson. I said that was a great move. The fact that the idea was that you're going to secure a top wide receiver in the league, a guy who has basically gone out there year in and year out with a terrible quarterback on his, throwing him the ball, but yet continues to put up good numbers. You go through his stats over 1,000 yards every single year. He just is a legitimate top-end, top-level wide receiver. If he's not a top 10 wide receiver in the game, he's a top 5. He's moving up there. And now you got to hope that Russell Wilson can find something else and unlock something else out of Garrett Wilson, because it's not been pretty. It's not been easy. But you think about this, like I said last time, his targets went down this year. His receptions went up. His total yards went up. His touchdowns went up. It's not all about touchdowns. Obviously, touchdowns help a lot. But it's about like the yak yards and all that other stuff. Garrett Wilson's stud, 1,100 yards the first year, then dipped to 1,042, and then last year back over 1,104. I mean, you talk about a guy who's consistent with inconsistency, with Zach Wilson, with Aaron Rodgers, with whoever else had to be subbed in there to throw the football to him. Garrett Wilson deserved this contract extension. He totally did. Let's see the exact numbers. If I'm correct, it was $130 million with $90 million guaranteed over 4 years. That is awesome. And he deserves it. And he went out there every single game and put his game face on and he does things the right way. Something about Garrett Wilson, it feels like he's not too big for the team. He's not too big for the moment. And he's a team player. He'll go out and do what he has to do. Even if he's acting as second fiddle. When Devontae Adams came in, seemed like it was more like, hey, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams show. And maybe Garrett Wilson's going to see the door. But he never wavered. He continued being as a good teammate, a good player, and going up and putting out his numbers. So how can you sit there and knock that at all? He well deserved that contract extension. Now, the other player that was talked about a month ago was Sauce Gardner. And he is yet to hit his extension. And I got to be honest with you, and I said this last time, I'm going to say it again. Good for the New York Jets. If they want to give this guy a pay raise, if they want to sign this guy long term, prove to me, prove to the fan base, prove to the team that you want to be here, that through thick and thin, you are a team player, that you're going to go out there and you're going to have your best year, even if the team doesn't have their best year. That you, listen, I tell this to all the kids that I ever coach. You can only control what you can control, right? That's it. It's all you can do. On a football field, you're one of 22. You can't do everything. You can't throw the ball. You can maybe make an interception here and there and catch the ball, but you can't do a lot. You can control what you can control. If you do that well, and you do that as perfect as possible, good things will come. If the team around you gets better and you do what you do, you're going to be a winner on and off the field. You're going to cash in. But so far last year, the regression that I saw in Gardner, it was so disappointing. I don't even know if I want the guy around for a long time. So I'm glad that Wilson got paid, and I'm glad that they didn't rush yet with Gardner. And I really, truly hope that Gardner does not see a pay raise until he goes out there and proves he wants to be in the green and white for the next 5 years. And it's not just about, showing up and winning games and whatnot, because it's going to be a struggle. You think the Jets are going to go out there this year and just completely beat down teams because Russell Wilson's the new quarterback? Russell Wilson. Jeez, why am I saying Russell Wilson? It's the second time I said that. It's not Russell Wilson. It's Justin Fields. Jeez, I'm thinking Giants. Anyway, off my game. You think that the Jets are going to go out there and they're just going to win games because they have Aaron Glenn as a new head coach? That yes, the team is changing, the philosophy is changing, but there's a lot of other things. This is going to be a brand new slate. So it's year one all over again. So for Gardner, who's already been here for a lot of downs, how are you going to go and expect, Gardner, the Jets to just come in and just be winners off the bat with Aaron Glenn? It's not going to happen. Again, like I said, which I kept on screwing up, and I apologize. It's not Russell Wilson. It's Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields. I think he can play, but the offense is a lot to experiment with, and we'll see what they can do. The defense, which was supposed to be this mainstay of the team last year, completely fell backwards. And a lot of that was on Gardner. A lot of that was because they also couldn't get to the quarterback, but a lot of it was on Sauce Gardner too. He just regressed. So go out there and prove that no matter what happens on the field, that you can be an elite cornerback and then you get paid. That's how it goes. So if the Jets are smart, they will make this guy work a little bit harder. Prove that you want to be a New York Jet. Prove that you will go through the ups and downs with the teams no matter what, because that is going to happen. That's in a season no matter what. Dude, nobody thought that Aaron Rodgers, even though I could not stand the Aaron Rodgers move, nobody thought it was going to be that bad. No one thought that in 4 plays, the first year with Aaron Rodgers, he was going to get hurt and be out the season. I knew the team was going to collapse. I knew people were going to get fired. I just didn't think it was going to happen like that. But you got to be able to adapt and say, you know what, I still have a job to do. And he didn't do it last year. Garrett Wilson did. Didn't make a difference who the quarterback was. Didn't make a difference what role he was asked to do. He still did his job. And that's where Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, to me, are just two different players and two different objectives. So good for Garrett Wilson. And if Gardner, if he wants to get that next payday from the Jets, go out there and prove it. So good job by the Jets on that one. Again, unfortunate home run derby for the New York Yankee fans out there. That Jazz just didn't show up. It's okay. It happens. As Garrett Wilson, that's the bigger news, I think, in this case, because he got a little payday. Got a nice little payday. And it's nice to see that someone who was on the question mark. Like the Jets were thinking, like there was rumors last year at one point in time, they were considering maybe moving with Devontae Adams and not Garrett Wilson. I'm like, you're going to move on from Garrett Wilson? Oh my God. What are we doing? A young, talented wide receiver that does the right thing, you want to move on from because Devontae Adams is here with Aaron Rodgers? I was very happy to hear that Rodgers was out. Very happy to hear that Adams was out. And now I'm very happy to hear that Garrett Wilson got his payday. Rightfully deserved. All right. Thank you for listening to WFAN Daily. I will be back tomorrow with more. We'll probably do a little recap of the All-Star game, maybe. And then later on this week, probably going to get a guest on to talk about some, second half of the season. If anything else pops up, maybe there's no Knicks news. There's nothing. That's the most disappointing thing about the Knicks right now is there was all this hoopla after they got knocked out about who's going to be the head coach. They fired Tibbs. Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the head coach? And how they're going to work with this roster. Mike Brown's the head coach now, and doesn't seem like there's anything to this roster that's really going to change besides small things that we talked about. There's no big splash coming. LeBron James, even if he wants out of LA, is he really going to be coming to New York? I don't think so. And that's disappointing because I'm talking about a team that was on the cusp of getting to the NBA Finals. And the biggest move they did was fire the head coach who finally got this team to an Eastern Conference final, which hasn't been done in 25 years. They fired the head coach from Mike Brown, and that's the big move. That's the big offseason move. I'm not saying that you had to change up the core of this team, the starting players on this team, but my God, put a little bit more effort into the strategy behind how you want to improve the team. If anything, you might have taken a step back. If anybody thinks that Mike Brown in year one is going to the NBA Finals, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. Please tell me how Mike Brown is taking the Knicks to the NBA Finals when the only other time he did it was with a young LeBron James who put the entire team on his back. Tell me, explain it to me, because I don't see it. And that is frustrating. And now listen, if you want to say, hey, Brown's going to have 5 years to make this work, whatever it's going to be, okay. But then why did we? I know it's the same old thing. Why did we get rid of Tibbs? But that's the question. Why the hell did you? All right. Thanks again for following and liking and subscribing. Again, it's Pete Hoffman with you on WFAN Daily. Go check me out tomorrow with BT and Sal, as BT is off this week, but Sal is there. We will be here all week long. On Tuesday, Damian Priest stopping by. On Wednesday, I think he told you guys, Terry Collins is stopping by. We're going to have more guests for you throughout this entire week. We're going to be somewhere special on Thursday. So just keep an ear out, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WFAN. But if you want to as well, if you missed anything at all, go to the Odyssey app, check out Boomer and Gio, check out, again, BT and Sal, check out Evan and Tiki, check out Chris McMonagle, check out Keith McPherson. We're all on the Odyssey app with all the podcasts like WFAN Daily, the Rico Bronya, which there's a special episode of Rico Bronya on Wednesday, by the way. It is a David Wright dedicated podcast. His top moments, I believe it is, with Evan Roberts on Rico Bronya, because guess what? We're retiring his number on Saturday, which is great. It's a good thing that the Mets are doing it and focusing on retiring numbers and bringing history to the team, and not about winning, because let's distract the team from winning. Let's distract the fans from losing games and just say, hey, let's celebrate somebody else's career. I mean, listen, I'm fine with creating history, but you also got to create history on the field with this current team right now. And once trade deadline comes around, which is not that far away, we will get into and do a deeper dive into what the Mets and Yankees need to do. I'm telling you right now, both teams cannot just sit back and say, let's get some small pieces. No matter how mediocre baseball is, no matter how controlled these two teams are, sitting pretty in a playoff spot right now, the likelihood of the Mets and Yankees not making the playoffs, slimmer to none. Let's be serious. Both teams are going to be in there. Both teams are going to be either, at the very least, a wild card, which is not optimal, but they're in the playoffs. They get a chance. They get a ticket. That being said, though, Yankees were in the World Series last year. The Mets went to the NLCS last year. There is only up. You can't go down, which means Yankees got to go all in at some point in time for a top-level third baseman and a relief pitcher. And the Mets, they need a top-end starting pitcher. I broke it down, and I will continue to break it down. At the end of the day, Clay Holmes has to go to the bullpen come playoff time. End of story. He's a 5-inning pitcher. He's not going to give you length. And when it comes down to the playoffs, you can't go 5 innings and then go hand it off to the bullpen, because especially when the bullpen is unreliable, you can't do it. We can't have bullpen days. So it is Manaea, Senga, and Peterson that you can rely upon. But I want one more. I want an ace. I want a top-end starter. And if you got to piggyback a game where it's Senga and Holmes, I'm all about that. If you got to piggyback a game where, if it's a 5-game series and you're only going to get 3 starters, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But you need a top-end starter. I love Sean Manaea. I love Kodai Senga. I love David Peterson. They're just unreliable to all stay healthy and all be perfect come playoff time. That's why I want one more, just in case, because you can't have Frankie Montas, you can't have Clay Holmes, you can't have Tyler McGill if he comes back. You can't have, Blade Tidwell give you real innings. Paul Blackburn, if he comes back, can't have those guys give you real innings in the playoffs. Let's be serious. And the offense, which can click, doesn't always click, which is why you need an ace to be able to give you an outing that can go 7, 8 innings deep and then hand it off to Edwin Diaz. All right, enough of that for now. We'll do more talking with and maybe we'll get some guests on to talk about baseball stuff and whatnot. So we'll get into that more. Thank you again for listening to WFAN Daily. It is a pleasure to talk to you. Please like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And I guess I'll catch you later. See you. Oh, and don't forget to follow me at HoffWFAN. See ya.